school season, it's school season, it's school season, it's school season. You want to Jakpa, 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 yeah, Jakpa, yeah, Jakpa, yeah. No, let's get serious. Oh, man, don't do that. Anyways, people, let's get into the video, okay? Time to get serious. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Of course, my name is Ohimagbola Sumensa, and in today's video, I will be addressing a few questions I get often regarding applications for university and studying for my master's abroad. You know, it's always in this regard. Now, I'm doing this video now because I think it's the time to apply. So if you're looking forward to go to school or move abroad to study next year, then you have to have done those applications now. And by next year, I actually mean if you want to study, so September, then that means you have to do the application now. I will be looking at my laptop in this video just to guide me through. And so when is the best time to apply? If you want to go to school in September, that means we're talking about September of 2023 now. So if you're watching this video now and you want to study in September of 2023, then you should have started putting together everything you need or all your documents from now, because from December the schools open the applications and then it's open until 1st of March. So if you're looking forward to study in September, then your application should be ready. Okay, but for those of you who already studied, normally they will say in Europe. So maybe if you already studied for your bachelor in Europe and you want to now move to like Germany or so, then normally this is made longer and it's from June to September. But the focus of this video is for those of you coming from outside Europe, or you studied in your home country and now you want to move to Europe. So example, Germany. Okay, so I already made that clear. Applications will end normally around 1st of March. For many of the schools, it's like this. For many schools, it's like this. You just have a few schools who don't do this. And normally, the schools that do this are the schools that use Uni Assist. Normally, applications, especially in Germany, so if you're applying to Germany, you'll be applying to Uni Assist. Many people have asked me, so I know someone who asked me, they are trying to apply to the school and they have to pay some money to Uni Assist. What is that? And I said, yes, that is right. For the Uni Assist, you do have to pay some money, but that's for the focus of this discussion. If you want me to talk about Uni Assist and how that one works, you can also let me know. But let's focus on if I wanted to study now in September of 2023, what do I need or what do I have to do? Because this video means September of the following year, so September of every year. And so of course, I repeat, applications should be happening now, so you should be putting together all your documents now if you want to send in your application early. And I don't really think it's normally based on first come first serve. Not what I've heard is normally based on a good application. So just start putting your documents together now if you know if you want to study in September. So you have between December and March. And since it's March 1st, let me just make it from December to February. And that's it. We don't even have to talk March because it's March 1st. So, and what you need to know is that if you're applying to a school, normally you have to check what the school wants and what the requirements are. Of course, if you studied I don't even know what to use for an example. You should normally be in line with what you want to study. So check if you already know the school you want to apply to and you already have a good idea what school you like to study at and what master you want to study. Make sure you're checking for the requirements of that particular master and then you do your application. So you have to check if you want to study agriculture. So you want to now do your master in agriculture. You should know you normally should have had a little bit of a background or a bachelor in agriculture or some sciences. So normally chemistry is normally a requirement for those who still stay in agriculture, and sometimes statistics or mathematics. So some of these things you need to know. There are few things you should have studied already if you want to study for a master in agriculture. So that's just an example. So really check what the requirements are for the school. And for students who say, I want to move to a totally different field, then you should have really made the best grades. Like if you're coming from Ghana, your GPA should have been like a 3.65, 3.7, 3.8, like a first class student, because that will really improve your chances for the school to know that's a very intelligent student. And although they didn't study something in this field, the likelihood that they can catch up is also very high. So just keep that as a side note. It hardly happens, but normally schools also consider very intelligent students who just want to change fields, and they should have had a good GPA. So don't use your second class lower to say I want to change my field, because the likelihood you cannot catch up could also be high. And so that's about selecting the course and finding the school. Now the next thing you need to know is that another important document you need for your master application is your motivational letter. If you haven't written it, it's why this video is being done now, that you have a lot of time to put that letter together and then send it to people you trust or people who you know are academically good, and let them read through it for you. Because a couple of times people say to me, oh Hema, my deadline is next week, and can you send me my motivational letter? The problem is you don't know what I'm doing, you don't know what my schedule looks like, and so having to fit that in is sometimes also a problem. Maybe I can look through it, but it wouldn't be to the best of my ability, because I'm also probably rushing through it, or it's too tight. So if you do it now, you can always get someone to review it for you now, and then you have January, you have February to send your application. And like I said, if the school first March doesn't make sense, so February. So give your timeline February. By February, your application should have already been sent to the school. And these things take time. You don't know what's going to happen. So I really recommend that by February, you've already put everything together and you're ready to send out your application. Also, another thing you need to do is a CV. Look, many people say, how do I put together my CV? What should I put in my CV? What should I do? What should I not do? It's simple. If you do not have a CV, I would honestly recommend that you ask people you know who already have their CV, so you can use the format. You're not copying their CV. That's not what I'm saying. You're not going to copy their CV, but you want to know the format. Okay, so if you've never had a CV, or you don't even have one, then look for people who have a CV, and then you try to follow the format. Okay, you want to use the format of their CV, and be sure to edit accordingly. I would say that once you get the CV and once you see how it looks like, because the messages coming in, that's okay. But once you have that CV, be careful. You go gradually and edit it to suit you. Take out things that don't belong to you because it's someone else's CV, and gradually put in your information. Make sure not to make that mistake of putting in things where somebody said, I've worked for 10 years here, but you're only 19, 18 or 24 years and you haven't had that experience, and you make that mistake and that's in your CV. That will probably be considered as some kind of threat or impersonation, or trying to overdo it, because you just edited someone's CV, but whoever received your CV would think, why are you lying here, or that's not true. That will go against you. So really make that effort to make sure that you're really editing that CV to suit you. Go from the beginning. Start editing from the name, the date of birth, everything gradually, and edit it to suit your CV if you don't have one. I don't think there's a problem there. If you do not have a CV and you ask someone who has a CV, or your parents, and you edit the CV to suit you. Also, the next thing I will say is that once you've edited a CV you receive from someone, make sure you send the CV to someone to proofread it. Just so that the person will tell you, you put this here, it doesn't make sense, or you probably made a mistake and you didn't take out something you took from someone else's CV and it's still in yours, and it doesn't make sense to have it in yours. So always make sure you do that double check. It's something I do every single time. Every single time I write a document, I write a paper, I just give it to someone to read it for me. They will find mistakes even I didn't realize, and that goes a very long way. And the next thing you also normally need when applying for your master, so two things you cannot do without: your motivation letter and your CV. Normally you can do that. Many schools require this. Okay. The next thing most schools require is your English language proficiency. Okay, and they call that like a level of C1. That's like the European standard, like the C1. And so yeah, I think that's where that the whole TOEFL, and I don't know what the other one is. I don't know, GRA, I don't know what that, I don't know, but yeah, these English language certificates you can take. I think normally being offered, I think British Council or something, I don't know, I have no idea, but the only one I really know is the TOEFL. And so these many schools require you to send this. Okay, it's a requirement, and that's if you're applying for a master in English. Many schools require this. Now there's also sometimes a way around this. If you come from an English speaking country, and like it says, if you come from the UK or US, they don't require these things for you because they know, they call it mother tongue English, so that works. But if you're coming from a country like Ghana, or from a country like Nigeria, or from Kenya, where you speak also English because that's the official language of those countries, then what you can do is, if you studied or had your whole education, or you actually even studied for your bachelor in English, then you can go to the language center at the university. Normally it will be the university you studied in, and you ask them for your, I know in Ghana, or like at the University of Ghana, you could do this at the language center. I don't know for every university, but at least for Ghana, or it was the language center, and they can issue a document. It normally takes like a day, or I don't remember how long mine took. I think it was like a day, and they will just issue the certificate that says that, oh, if you live in your Ghanaian and you've had your basic education up to your, your bachelor level, you've had all your education in English, and so that's just the proof they are given that you actually do speak English and you speak it fluently, more like mother tongue. So, and normally that certificate actually works when it's coming from the university, because it will be stamped. They'll have those all official things on it that show that you did study in English. So that works also, so you should consider that. Yeah. And what else do you need? Yes, also universities will require your transcript, so like your bachelor certificate. Also, so the two things, you require the certificate that you've completed the bachelor. That's what you get, where they've written you got a first class, upper, or second class, first class, or you got like second class, upper, second class, lower, third class. Normally that certificate is required, so you should have that. And you also need your, how they call it, your transcript. Okay, so the transcript when you complete the bachelor, that I think you can go and demand it. I don't remember how it works, but I think the transcript is something you go and demand from the university. They give you like an official document that is stamped. And then I think when I was in the University of Ghana, it was from the registry. I don't remember anymore how I did these things, but you can get this from the registry if I'm right. I don't remember, so if I'm wrong, pardon me. So you just need that official transcript that university would give you. It's not like A4 sheet, it's sticker, like like really good paper. You would realize it, and it's printed there in color and everything, and it's stamped. Like that's the official document, okay, that you need. And then one thing I want to say again with these official documents, so let's say your letter of motivation, your bachelor degree, so the certificate and the transcript, this official document you receive, you don't have to hand in the official, like the real documents. Don't do that. If you do that, you won't get them back. So they do not know, the universities do not require that official document to be sent to them. No, that's not what they're asking for. Normally they require you to hand in a copy, and when I say copy, I'm just going to advise you hand in the copy in color. So don't do black and white and say it's a photocopy. No, do a photocopy in color. So the document you're holding, and make sure you have like a colored copy when you do the photocopy, and that's what you attach to your documents. Okay, if the application also has to be done online, I don't know, you can just scan all the documents and send, but normally the schools require you to literally post the documents to them. So don't post the original, but post the photocopies you've done, the colored photocopies. Just listen to me. send in colored photocopies. I don't know about black and white, but I can tell you just send the colored copies because it makes it look more like the original. Yes. And then I think the last thing I have here is the letter of reference. Now this is really optional for a lot of schools. Not every school requires you to add the letter of reference, but a couple of schools do, and they normally require two. So 2 letters of reference or 2 referees. Sometimes they'll tell you from whom they want these or not, but normally they require 2. My recommendation here is that if you did do your national service, you have a boss. So let the boss give you 1 letter of reference. If you're on good relationships with them, then let the boss give you 1 letter of reference, because then they'll stamp it with like the company stamp and the official stamp and all of that. It will be signed. Again, do a photocopy of that and attach in color, because normally the signature would also appear in color and the letterhead of the company will also be there, and then you can have it in color. And then also I recommend you to use like your professors from the university. I normally recommend the professor with whom you did your bachelor thesis, because that's like someone who also knows you very well, if you know what I mean. Or like a professor in whose course you did extremely well. I remember my time, there's a course I took and I did so well that the professor actually called me to find out if I was wanted to see me, because at the time professors don't really know you, not on the personal level like that. They probably just know names of students, but I think she couldn't match a face, and so she actually asked me to come see her. And so I went to see her, and she was like, oh, she really just wanted to meet me because she couldn't believe that I could produce such work, and she wanted to meet the students who produced this work. So I remember when I wanted my letter of reference, this is one of the professors I went to. I actually went back to this professor because she already had a good or positive image of me, and so I really had a good reference letter from her. It was like amazing. So yes, this is what I could really recommend. Or if you have a professor or professors in whose courses you did very well, because the professors know this, okay? So, or any professor you're on good terms with, then I would say let them help you with the recommendation letter. Yeah, so those are just a few pointers now. And like I said, if you want to study next year in September, because if you already wanted to study in the summer, which is which starts in March, I think this will now be difficult. I don't know, but for an international students, if you want to study next year, then this video is for you. And next year, I mean September, you want to start studying from September, then you need to start putting your documents together now so that you can get into that school, and at least you know your chances. And of course, you don't need to do 1 application. You can send at least 2-3 different applications to different universities, and then hopefully you get admitted into one or all of them, and then you can make your choice. So yeah, thank you for watching. Of course, feel free to like, share, and let me know if I left something out of it. And if there's any other information you need for your applications, let me know. I'll be happy to do a video on it or talk about it if there's something you want to know in particular. But of course, feel free to like and share this video, and yeah, give it a thumbs up just to motivate your girl. So thank you for watching.